A very good afternoon to one and all. On the behalf of IQAC and Research Cell of Jangipur College, I welcome all of you to today's webinar, which has been arranged as a part of the celebration of Swachhata Pakhwada, which has been observed from 1st September to 15th September. And this is our last event of the celebration. And today we have among us an eminent speaker from Banaras Hindu University Department of Botany, Dr. Piyush Mathur. So I welcome Dr. Mathur to today's wonderful event, and we are really looking forward for today's session. Meanwhile, as we have joined together in this August gathering on a very relevant topic for our daily life, which involves bio-waste management and environmental remediation. So this is something which keeps on getting updated, getting reinvestigated and applied to our daily life at the societal level. So based on this background, today we will look forward to hear from Dr. Mathur regarding such a wonderful, dynamic and relevant societal issue. Before moving on to the formal part of the program, I welcome all the participants from and external of Jangipur College, and especially for all those listeners who are external to this college. I take my pleasure to introduce to all of you regarding our college. So I will just move on with a virtual campus trip of Jangipur College so that you are able to understand about our educational institute and the efforts which we are making. So, welcome to Jangipur College, which is located as a rural college in Murshidabad district of Bengal. This college was established in the year 1950 on 1st August, and I take my pride to share with all of you that our college has entered on the eve of 75th year of its celebration, which will be completed next year in August. And throughout the year, we are organizing various academic, curricular, and co curricular events. So, Jangipur College is a general degree college which has 17 departments from different disciplines of science, arts, and commerce. We are having an average student strength of around 9,000 to 10,000. And recently, the college has organized a recruitment drive from Tata Consultancy Services for our and nearby colleges. And it was a matter of pride to say that many students got selected in this campus drive. All the programs presently are getting guided by our principal ma'am, Dr. Prarthita Vishas. She has a vision for moving forward with various improvisations of new techniques, tools, and modernizations in the sector of education. Our college has a very vibrant activity of NSS and NCC, which has been organized by faculties, and the students are much active to participate in different events across the country. It's really a pride moment to say that our students have secured various positions in national and state level competitions, and they have proved themselves. Apart from that, we are organizing different events in our colleges. We have an annex building associated with our main campus with huge strength of students getting accommodated. And I would like to mention that we are also having distance education programs for various PG courses and affiliated to the University of Kalyani. The college is present at the east bank of River Bhagirathi, which is also popularly called as Ganga, and this provides a very serene atmosphere to our college. Thank you, all of you. So, with these words, I am taking the pleasure to move forward to the formal part of the program. And now I invite our respected principal ma'am, Dr. Prarthita Vishwas, to please address the inaugural speech of today's program. Over to you, ma'am.
Thank you, Somu. A very good day to one and all. And from my side, a warm welcome to Dr. Mathur, who will be speaking on the occasion of Swachhata Pakhwada. We are celebrating this Swachhata Pakhwada between 1st September to 15th September. Today is the final day of the observation of Swachhata Pakhwada, and Dr. Mathur will be speaking on microbial plant alliances in environmental cleanup, innovations in waste management. And we are actually stepping in the 75th year of Jongipur College, and I wish this webinar a grand success. At the same time, I would like to give a warm welcome to Dr. Piyush Mathur, who is an assistant professor of the Department of Botany, Institute of Science, Banaras Hindu University in Varanasi. So, with this, I would hand over again the e-podium to Dr. Somo Mukherjee, who will be formally introducing the speaker, and then we will continue with the rest of the session. Thank you, one and all.
Thank you, ma'am, for delivering the inaugural lecture. Now, before moving on to the lecture session, today I have the pleasure to introduce to all of you our speaker. So, Dr. Piyush Mathur is presently working as an assistant professor in the Department of Botany, Institute of Science, Banaras Hindu University. He has been teaching for the last 6 years and he has taught at the undergraduate and postgraduate level. He has done his PhD in botany with specialization in mycology and plant pathology from the University of Delhi. Presently, he is supervising four PhD research scholars who are working in the diverse fields of microbial diversity, bioprospecting, and plant disease management. His scholars has published various articles in well-known international journals of good repute, Scopus Indexed. He has also contributed articles as book chapters in international and national books. He is serving as a member of editorial board of BMC Plant Biology. He has previously edited three books with Springer and is working on other books too. Dr. Mathur is an active member of the Society of Rapeseed Mustard Research, Bharatpur, and Delhi University Botanical Society, Delhi, and also for Indian Phytopathological Society, New Delhi. So with these words, I welcome you, Dr. Mathur, once again to today's webinar. We are looking forward for your lecture today. So over to you, Dr. Mathur.
Thank you, Dr. Soumya Mukherjee. First of all, I would like to thank Principal Ma'am, Dr. Pradha Vishwas, for giving me this opportunity to deliver lecture in this webinar on Swachhata Pakhwada. Ma'am, it would be completely my privilege to have got this opportunity to deliver my talk in this. And through this lecture, I have also got to know about your college, and it would be a great opportunity for me to visit sometime in near future. Thank you, ma'am. And I would also like to thank Dr. Soumya Mukherjee. He is actually, apparently he is my batchmate, my friend and come colleague. He has given me this opportunity. He has asked me, so I cannot say no to him. And he's a great researcher too. Thank you, Dr. Soumya, for giving such a great introduction of myself. I am thankful to you. So shall I start my lecture, Dr. Soumya?
Yes, please. You can start.
I hope my screen is visible to everybody.
Not yet.
Not yet. Now is it visible?
Yeah, it's visible.
Shall I start now? Okay.
Yes.
So good afternoon to everyone, dear colleagues, researchers, students, and other members who are joined from different areas of the country. So today I'm presenting the topic on microbial plant alliances and environmental cleanup, innovations in waste management in the one-day national webinar on Swachhata Pakhwada organized by Jangipur College, Murshidabad. I am working as an professor in the Department of Botany, Institute of Science, Banaras, and the University. So my contents of the presentation would be as follows. I'll
Dr.
start with.
Mathur, just to interrupt you, your I think email page is visible. Your slide page is not visible. Can you please
Oh,
check?
okay. Now is it fine?
Not yet.
Not yet. I'll just check.
Okay.
Am I visible?
No, not yet. Is there any technical issue, or you can? Dr. Mathur, you can share the slide with me, and shall I share it in the screen if you are having issues? Yeah, it's visible now. You're not audible, Dr. Mathur.
Can you see my screen?
Yeah, it's visible now. You
Is slides
can,
now visible?
yeah, slide is visible. You
I'm
can put in a full
I'm
screen.
sorry. I'm sorry for this actually.
It's
Yeah.
okay.
My contents of presentation would be as follows. I'll start with the waste intro. What is waste? Then I'll go on what are the different categories of waste. Then what is the Indian scenario on the waste production, followed by waste management, waste recovery, waste transformation, and what are the recent innovations that have been seen in the recent past for the waste management. Then we'll go to bioremediation, followed by phytoremediation, and then I will conclude my slides. So first, what is waste? As we all know, waste is an unwanted, unusable material. It is any substance which is discarded after primary use or is worthless, defective, and of no use. As we can see in the back of the slide, everywhere there is a waste. Waste means that it cannot be used, it is of no use. We all discard waste that just as an unusable material. It is a byproduct by contrast. is a joint product of relatively minor economic value. Whatever, like by human mind, whatever we store, we just store like what has an economic importance. If anything is not helping me commercially or through money, it is of minor economic value. So waste is considered as a minor economic value. Then a waste product may become a byproduct, joint product, or a resource through an invention that it raises waste product's value above zero. What we should do, we should try to innovate some resources, we try to develop some technologies that may help to convert not directly the waste, but some byproduct of a waste that helps to increase its commercial value, not as a zero. So waste can be classified into different categories. We all know that there is municipal solid waste, there is domestic waste, there is agricultural waste. All these three types of waste are rich in organic matter. Therefore, they are considered to be as organic waste. This constitutes of your various plant debris, food product, feedstock, agricultural waste, residues, leaf residues, etc. While there are big amount of waste that has been released from the commercial industries, industrial industries, they may not be hazardous like a paper, like pens, plastic, some some degradable plastics. Then there are waste from the construction and demolition waste. We can see that large amount of sand particles, minerals, large amount of sand, gravel, and other particles have been released from the construction and demolition sites. Then the next category of waste, which we consider as hazardous waste that we are not able to solve with this problem, is biomedical waste, plastic waste, e-waste, radio waste. You will be surprised to know that India will be occupying the third position in secretion of this electric waste in the year 2025. Right now it is China, but with the growth and industrialization that India is seen in the electrical industry, we will be able to get #1 position in electric waste discard. So as we were seeing that waste generation in urban areas of India will be 0.7 kg per person per day in the year 2025, which is approximately 4 to 6 times higher in the year 1999. According to the recent report by Ministry of Environment, Forest and Climate Change, India currently generates 62 million tons of waste, including both recyclable and non-recyclable every year, with an annual average growth rate of 4%, which is very higher. This includes solid waste, plastic waste, and e-waste. According to the report published by Swachh Bharat Mission, in urban scenario, 1.45 lakh tons per day of municipal solid waste is being generated in an urban India. The generation of such amount of municipal solid waste is expected to rise to 165 million tons by 2030 due to changing consumption patterns and rapid economic growth, as noted by the Central Pollution Control Board report in year 2021. So what is a simple scenario? We say that we are doing waste management. What we are doing, we have now put the baskets and we are now segregating organic waste, paper waste, plastic waste, and glass. We say, yes, we are doing waste management. As you all see now, the best thing what we can do at our end, what we do, we put different type of waste in different baskets. But is it waste management? Do you think that it is a waste management? No, it is not a waste management. We are just segregating. Where this waste is gone, this gone to now incineration sites, to different landfills, to open areas where it is burned and it is causing harmful effects to the environment and ecosystem. So this is not a waste management. This was waste management in the previous, like say 10, 20 years ago, when we decided to segregate the waste. This is called segregation. It is not a management. So what is waste management? In our language, we say the concept of waste management involves collection, removal, processing, and disposal of materials considered as a waste. There is nothing like you say recycling and nothing. Waste materials can be solid, gaseous, liquid, and even hazardous, and they are generally generated through human activity. There are several conventional technologies that have been widely used for organic solid waste management and disposal. That includes landfills. Landfills are the open sites which are being there in various areas in all over the country, in the big cities, Mumbai, Delhi, Chennai, Kolkata, everywhere there are landfills, incineration sites where waste are burned at high temperatures. Then there is anaerobic digestion by the microbes, and then thermophilic composting that we do at high temperature composting. Historically, this was the waste management when the developed nations have dealt with their waste by sending it to the landfills or burning it in incinerators. But both of these options are come, yeah, both of these options come with some significant environmental problems, because all these things, they burn the waste, they destroy the waste in an open areas where they are producing harmful gases, atmospheric pollutants, and various wastewater bodies where this liquid from this waste gets into the ecosystem. So what are the difference between the classical organic solid waste treatment technologies? The sites which you can see, the first one is the landfills, second is incinerators, then anaerobic digesters, then there is hyperthermophilic composting. What are the problems with that? That they generate a large amount of leachate. These leachate negatively impact underground waterways and freshwater systems. Also, they carries the wind along with the burning in the systems. They create hazards for wildlife, people, as well as visual problems of the local environments. Also, the burning of this organic waste, you say under anaerobic digesters, they create methane gas. Methane is one of the important contributor of a greenhouse gas that is 20 plus 20 more times higher than other carbon dioxide for causing climate change. Then incinerators, which are burned, you say in these chambers, they emit air pollutants, including things like dioxins, furans, and particulate matter that are the major causal agents for the air pollution and harmful effects on the human health. So, what we should do? What is the new that we can understand in this lecture, or what you can see? We all know that there were 3 R's: reduce, reuse, and recycle. This was now an old concept. Now we should include, yeah, we have included 4 R's of waste management. The other four, next R is your recover. Recover is a very important thing. Why we want to recover? Because it minimizes waste generations, it saves resources for the sustainable development, it helps in reducing pollutions, it promotes sustainable development. We are doing reducing, we are trying to reusing, we are trying to recycle it, but that do not fulfill our solid waste management strategy. We have to now develop, you say, a economy, a country which extract the material from the solid waste, and that material can be used for any commercial purpose or some commercial industries, so that we can prepare a sustainable developed country. So what we can recover? So there are many things which we can recover from the waste. Waste, as we have already seen, waste contains organic waste, glass waste, metal waste, different type of waste. So the waste contains the things which we can recover from the waste are energy. We can generate feedstocks for the animals and other poultry, birds. We can generate large amount of industrial products from the waste, which are, you say, which we say we can industrial biotechnology or industrial microbiology. Then we can also generate large amount of fertilizers, so that we can reduce our consumption on the chemical fertilizers. So what is the main aim of today's lecture is how we can recover these things from the waste. What are the different strategies which we can obtain for the recovery of the waste, not just the disposal in an open area or in a landfill. So there is a very important term when we say recover, which is called waste valorization. Valorization is a very common term which is used in economics. Whenever anything we do for commercial purpose, we convert anything for any commercial. When we put a waste in the front of suffix of valorization, it is a waste valorization. Waste valorization includes, it's a beneficial reuse, beneficial use, value recovery, or waste reclamation. These are synonyms which can be used for the waste valorization term. It is a process of waste products or residues from an economic process being valorized, given economic value by reuse, recycling in order to create economically useful materials. We want to say that whatever product we have, a waste product we have, we can convert it into something that can have some economic value, and we can reuse it or recycle it in for further use. We just do not exclaim that we use that waste for recovery of some product which has some economic value. Why waste valorization is important? This helps to reduce our energy consumption because we can recycle our resources generated from the valorization process. We can improve the climate by lowering greenhouse gases emissions. A very important, we will see in the next slide, we promote a circular bioeconomy. I will tell you in the last of my slides what is circular bioeconomy. We can also develop a low carbon society. So what are the new horizons of the waste valorization? We have seen the various processes, landfills, incineration, but how these things can be used for the valorization process in a sustainable manner. We all know that we have feedstocks which include mining sites which are rich in straw, which are rich in food waste, which are rich in fat, oil, grease, which are rich in manure, there are wastewater which are rich in large amount of sludges. So there are different processes from this waste which can be developed into some product, which is here you can see energy. How they can be developed? Landfill minings can be passed into some incineration process. Incineration, burning of gas which has been produced from incineration, they can be used for generation of electricities. They can be also used for the generation of heat. Similarly, the straw which is being burned in the open systems like in gasification or in pyrolysis, which is high temperatures, we can develop a biofuel. We can also develop like food waste through hydrothermal liquefaction into a biogas. We can also develop, yeah, we can also convert the fats, manures, wastewater for different products which have some economic value. If we use all these products can be recycled and they have been generated from the waste. So we can sustain our economy for sustainable future. So, what is incineration? Incineration is a waste treatment, which I was seeing in the previous slide, that involves the combustion of substances contained in the waste material. Industrial plants for waste incineration are commonly referred to as waste to energy facilities. Now, we are not just saying that these are dumping sites. Now, we are saying incineration as waste to energy facilities. In our new horizon of waste valorization, we are now trying to say incinerations can convert waste to energy facilities. Incineration with energy recovery is one of the several waste to energy technologies. Not only incineration, there are also gasifications, there are pyrolysis, there are anaerobic digestion. So what is pyrolysis? Pyrolysis involves heating of a biomass coming from different organic sources at high temperatures in the absence of oxygen to produce decomposed products. The pyrolysis is a main process that is employed in the production of bio-rich oil, or you say bio-oil, which is a liquid with relatively low viscosity, complex mixture of short-chain aldehydes, ketone, and carboxylic acids. Before going further, I should now introduce you microbes. So we say microbes. Microbes are everywhere. A largely unseen world of living things that support life processes. Some microbes cause diseases, but most are harmless and even helpful. We say, well, right now I am sitting here, you are sitting in an environment, the whole environment is rich in microbes. We do not say that all microbes are harmful. They may live as individuals or clustered together in communities. Microbes live in the water we drink, the food we eat, and the air we breathe. Microbes, you say, they are everywhere. Right now, billions of microbes are swimming in our intestine also, and are in our mouth and crawling on our skin. Don't worry, they are over 95% of microbes are good for us. We say the coronavirus is harmful, but there are different other billion of microbes that are very important for our sustainable for sustaining our health in this environment. So microbes include bacteria, viruses, fungi, algae, and protozoa. Why microbes? We carried out our study with the microbes because they have rapid growth and multiplication because of their small size. They allow for the quick production of large microbial communities. In turn, they enable scientific investigations over several generations in a short time period. More importantly, microbes can be genetically modified to produce high value end products such as energy sources. The design versatility and wide applicability has made both fundamental and applied microbiology as the integral components of modern day biotechnology. We say microbes are the major material for all the applied microbiology and biotechnological studies. So now we again come to waste valorization, because the third process which is widely being used for the waste valorization is anaerobic digestion. Anaerobic means in the absence of oxygen. Digestion means we digest various organic waste. It is established process within the waste to the energy sector for the treatment of organic waste. First was incineration, second was pyrolysis, third is anaerobic digestion, which is carried out by the microorganisms. Microorganisms digest and eat the feedstock, producing biogas that predominantly made up of methane along with carbon dioxide. Some traces of other gases makes the remaining percentage. After the process, a solid mass is known as digestate is left, which is a nutrient-rich product that can be used as a fertilizer. You can see that the organic waste can be digested and can help to form a biogas. Along with this, some other digestate is formed, which is can be used as a fertilizer. So what the basically the microbes do? Microbes, they carry a very important process which is called as fermentation. Through fermentation, they break the complex biopolymers such as polyproteins, polysaccharide, fats, or oils. They break down into a small monomers like sugars, amino acids, and peptides. There are different depending on the category of the fermentation, depending on the product of fermentations. Some bacteria, they produce lactic acid, some bacteria, they produce propanoic acid, some bacteria produce butyric acid. Depending on the product they are formed, they've been categorized into, they have been, you say, they carry out different processes. This process of breaking down first process is hydrolysis. Second process of breaking down monomers is called acidogenesis, because there is the production of different type of acids. Then the third process, acetogenesis. They produce like hydrogen, carbon dioxide, and acetate. Then there's a very important class of bacteria. They are called as methanogens. These methanogens, they act upon the carbon dioxide and they form methane and carbon dioxide from this step. So this whole process is very important because this is called anaerobic digestion, and it is completely carried out by different class of bacteria. And this is the main process that is, you say, a key step for the production of the, you say, further biogas or biofuel or bioenergy. As I was saying, that process, the main process for converting waste to energy. And energy, because they are being generated by the action of microorganism, there are 4 different type of energies can be formed. There can be formation of biohydrogen, there can be formation of bioethanol, there can be formation of biodiesel, there can be formation of biofuel. Now we also see there are microbial biofuel cells. There are various advancements being carried out in different stages of these processes. I will not go into detail of every process because it will be too large for you to understand. But overall, you can see that a manure feedstock, which constitute complex organic matter, which is rich in carbohydrate, proteins, fat, they are being hydrolyzed into smaller sugars, amino acids, and fatty acids. Then there's a formation of acid. This acid, they can produce volatile fatty acids, or they can produce acetic acid, hydrogen gas, and carbon dioxide. And the process is called as methanogenesis here. This methanogenesis further, they help in production of biogas that constitute electricity and heat. And also there is production of biomethane that help in the production of fuel, which can go into the grid gas. So you can see here's a process that can be used, that employ the application of microbes and helps in the conversion of waste to energy. We can convert our manual organic waste into some energy process. Not only energy, we can also convert our waste into some value added products. Value added product means those products that have some immense importance in our daily life, and have commercial industrial importance, like bioplastics, biofertilizers, large number of enzymes, and food products. These microbes have the ability to convert waste product into bioplastics, biofertilizers, food products, and enzymes. So you can see not only waste, organic waste from household or domestic, but there are large amount of agriculture residues which are being formed from like various plants which are degraded into the field, like leaves, stalks, stems. Then there are agriculture residues like oil cake, seed residues, husk, molasses, baggies, root waste. India generate almost, you say, 6.7 million tons of agriculture residues every agricultural year. and these residues gets burnt and they cause pollution, as you have seen in your, where in every year there is a Delhi, there is a pollution problem in the month of, you say, November, December. So those agriculture residues are just burnt. But if you utilize that waste in a better process, we can use this waste for other value-added products. How we can use this value-added products? Like this waste is rich in cellulase, hemicellulase, lignin, pectinases, and on this carbon-rich, you say all these cellulase, cellulose, lignins, hemicellulose, they are rich in carbon, and various microbial processes through fermentations, like microorganisms like fungi and yeast, they act upon these products, various products which are rich in various compounds, carbon rich compounds, and they help in conversion of these products into enzymes, ethanol, organic acids, antioxidants, and various antibiotics. Not only, you say, bacteria, there are a large amount of fungi, including yeast. Yeast is, you know, is the major organism which is responsible for ethanol production through fermentation. Then not only agriculture residues, there are various crop residues that is act upon by not only by bacteria, there are also cyanobacteria that helps in bioconversion. Bioconversion means that they act upon these products and they convert into compost, mushroom beds, biofertilizer, green manure, biogas. This whole can be put in a compost, and in a compost, different type of microorganisms, they convert this into these type of products. So we can say that whole organic waste rich in coming from the crop residues and agriculture residues, they can be converted into value added products. These compost and these all things can be used further for the growth and development of plant species under agriculture or under different field conditions. Then we comes to the bioplastics, a very, you say, emerging term. We all say bioplastics. Okay, so a polymeric material can be considered as a bioplastic if it is either a biological based material or made from renewable materials with large amount of biodegradability potential. So there are two categories of bio-based plastics. One is called bioplastics, where that constitutes biopolyethylene tetrahydrolate, biopolyethylene, biopolyamide, biotrimethylene tetraphthalate. While this type of bioplastic are non-biodegradable. So I want to tell you one thing, that we say bioplastic, not all type of bioplastics are biodegradable. Initially, we were developing large amount of bioplastics in last few years, but all those bioplastics, they are not biodegradable. So to develop a biodegradable plastic, the plastic should be made up of a polymer, which is made up of polylactic acid, polyhydroxyalkanoates, polybutylene, cellulose-based, starch-based, protein and lipase-based. If the bioplastic is made from these components, then it would come into the category of a biodegradable. Such type of bioplastics are non-biodegradable. Bioplastics are specific types of bioresource-based polymeric material considered environmentally and economically viable to replace conventional petrochemical plastics. So all those plastics which are made from chemicals. So what are the basically bioplastic which are biodegradable? I have highlighted here. It is PHA, in short form it is called polyhydroxyalkanoate. It is PLA, polylactic acid, PHP, polyhydroxybutyrate, polyamide, polyhydroxyurethane, then cellulose based, then starch based, then protein and lipid based biopolymers. So if you see in the top, you say top of the left slide, plant biomass can be used directly to extract this cellulose and starch, and they can further be used for the development of a bioplastic. Then plant biomass can be chemically converted into sugars with the help of fermenting bacteria. And from the fermenting bacteria, we carry out the extraction of polyhydroxyalkanoate. Similarly, from the plant biomass, there is a chemical conversion into sugar with the help of fermentation of bacteria through polymerization, and there is a formation of polylactic acid. As we were know, there is an important class of bacteria which is called as lactic acid bacteria that helps to create the formation of lactic acid. Those lactic acid bacteria, they can be further utilized to create a polymerizations for the polylactic acid. Then also the plant biomass, they can be chemically converted into building blocks like bio-based polyethylene, polypropylene, and polyethylene furanate. Now we can see not only the plant biomass, yeah, not only the bacteria, they help in extraction, in preparation of bioplastic. We are now developing bioplastic from the large amount of algae, seaweeds, and cyanobacteria. What we are deriving from that, we are extracting and refining large amount of algal derivatives, which are rich in various type of polymers, cellulose, starch, PHA, PLA. We are extracting it from the algae, and these derivatives further downstream with the help of blending process, plasticizers, they are being now formed into a bioplastics. And we are increasing the cultivation of this algae for the extraction of such type of bioplastics. While when we extract when we see the municipal waste or industrial waste, which is rich in, you say, large amount of organic waste, they are pre-treated. We carry out fermentation in that. We carry out. We can see that there are granules which are being formed by fermentative bacteria, which are rich in polyhydroxyalkanate granules. We inactivate such cells by heating, and we extract the polyhydroxyalkanate pellet, and we dry it, and we create a powder. And after adding some plasticizers or blending agents, we can create bioplastic from this powder. So we can develop from the waste to the plastic. Similarly, we can also develop a large amount of bio waste, which can be clean, crushed, grinded, and these bio waste, they attract the microbes because they are rich in organic compounds. We extract PHA and PLA from this type of microbes. We prepared some powder. We add some plasticizers or additives for making it use in our plastic industries. For making various products, we have to use some plasticizers or additives, and they can be biodegraded again into a bio waste because they are being formed from the biological material. So we have seen that microbes, they are very important part of the waste management. They help in biofuel development. They help in, you say, development of large amount of chemicals. They help in nanotechnology. They help in disease treatment. They help in pharmaceutical testing. But as for the today, we are now focusing on the role of microbes in the, you say, waste cleanup. So it is very important to discuss a very important topic, which is called as bioremediation. How the microbes, they help not only in conversion of waste to some product, they also help in cleaning the environment. That's why we say environmental cleanup. So what is bioremediation? Bioremediation is the use of living organism for the removal of a pollutant from the biosphere. It relies on the biological processes to minimize an unwanted environmental impact of the pollutants. Microorganisms have the abilities to degrade, detoxify, and even accumulate these harmful organic as well as inorganic compounds. Apart from microorganisms, plants also reported to remove such pollutants, primarily through ability to accumulate these tissues. Under bioremediation, we say microbes have the ability not only to degrade, detoxify, but they accumulate in their cells all the harmful compounds which are referred to as xenobiotics or pollutants. Not only microbes, there are different various plants. We will see in the slides that have the ability to remediate the various regions, various soils which are rich in heavy metals, soil condition, other things. So why there's a need to study bioremediation when we are why? Because with the start of industrial revolutions, there is eventual release of large quantities of chemicals into the environment through agriculture or industrial purposes or by accidentally mishandling of harmful discharge. Due to excessive discharge, a large area of land on the Earth's surface is now being contaminated with different categories of pollutants and ultimately converted into a wasteland. By using conventional physical and chemical methods, it will take 5 to 6 decades to decontaminate these sites, and that will too have many side effects on the other forms of life. If we try to contaminate using physical and chemical method, it will be completely impossible to decontaminate all the wasteland. So bioremediation has emerged as a most important ideal alternative, environmental friendly and ecologically sound technology for removing the pollutants from the environment, restoring contaminated sites and preventing further pollution. So there are different approaches of bioremediation. There are ex situ bioremediation, there are in situ bioremediations. Ex situ, where the contaminants are treated off-site, contaminant material has been moved to some sort of contained reactor at some site. Like we collect all the contaminants to some region and we treat the contaminants at that particular site. There are various examples of ex situ like land farming, compositing, biopiles. But in comparison to in situ, where contaminants are treated on site, we do not collect our contaminant and we come to some area. We try to decontaminate the land at a particular site. This includes bioventing, enhanced biodegradation, and phytoremediation. The phytoremediation is use of plant material for the remediation of the particular contaminating site is a type of in situ. So we can see the different categories of bioremediation. There are ex situ, there are in situ, there is ex situ, land farming, compositing, biopile, there are slurry bioreactors. So first we'll discuss shortly, very briefly about what is a ex situ. Ex situ means the solid phase system that includes organic waste present in solid form like leaves, animal manures, agricultural waste, and their problematic waste like include domestic, industrial, sewage, municipal solid waste. A very important example of is this composting. We all do composting in our kitchen gardens, all in our university gardens, wherever we get a place. Composting is a solid phase. It is a type of a solid phase biological treatment. Thus, target compounds must be either solid or a liquid related with a solid matrix. What we do is in compositing, we collect all the waste and we put it in some area and we covered it with a, you say, any sheet and all, and we let it get decomposed. How it get decomposed? Because with the help of microorganisms. Many microorganisms, they secrete various enzymes and which convert the toxic compounds in the waste into non-toxic compounds. And that compost which is formed after compositing can be used as a fertilizer. While in ex situ remediation, we do slurry phase. In that it is a solid waste. Here it is a slurry, means you mixed it with some chemical agent, you mixed in some water. They are mostly carried out under bioreactors. Under bioreactors, there are many factors that play a very important role, like pH, moisture content of the waste, temperature, aging, mixing nutrients, microbial population, reactor operations. So bioreactors are a very complex process. They are large units like a fermenters. They are placed in some industries where we carry our contaminant to that particular bioreactor and we fill it with our waste and convert this waste into some product inside the bioreactors. While in situ remediation is a toxic removal technology where microorganisms feed on contaminant and dissolve contaminants for biotransformation. We transform from a non-toxic to non-toxic form. It is a very difficult process. However, there are advantages of in situ comparison to ex situ because there is a minimal site disruptions. Continuous treatment can be done. Minimal exposure to the public or site personnel because when ex situ remediation is carried out, we have to collect waste. And waste contain heavy metals. There are a large amount of pollutants. When somebody is going to collect that waste, it may get affected with other type of diseases. Also, it is economical. We do because there is no transportation cost involved under in situ type of bioremediation. The major categories of in situ bioremediation are engineered and completely intrinsic. So one of the examples of of a bioremediation which we carried out is a wastewater treatment. Wastewater treatment uses a combination of a physical, chemical, and biological processes that include various treatments like primary, secondary, and tertiary. Primary treatment includes solids that are allowed to settle and can be removed from the wastewater. The major role is played by the secondary treatment where the biological processes are involved. Biological processes are used to further purify the wastewater. One common method is to sprinkle or trickle the water over a bed of sand or gravel. The major next process, tertiary, an additional treatment setup that can be used in some cases. Not all require the tertiary treatment, while there are certain advanced treatment also that can be used for the treatment of water. Wastewater treatment also include physical chemical separation techniques like filtration, carbon adsorption, distillation, and reverse osmosis. The purified wastewater can be used for industrial, agricultural, recreational purposes or even drinking water supplies. So the major, as we were seeing, that there is a primary, there is secondary, and there is tertiary treatment. Secondary is also referred to as biological wastewater treatment, which involves use of microorganisms such as bacteria, viruses, and protozoa that metabolize the biological content of the sewage. The contaminant of the organic substances are digested as food along with other energy sources by the cell. Here we can see the flow chart. Wastewater from the houses are discharged for the pre-treatment, where large amount of, you say, preliminary treatment that include coarse solids, sands are removed, then transferred into a primary settling tank. Then they are transferred into a secondary where the action of biological organism, or you say microorganism, takes place. Then there is a tertiary treatment. So under biological treatments, there are both aerobic wastewater treatment and anaerobic. Under aerobic, there is a further process like activated sludge process, trickling filters, aerated lagoons, and oxidation ponds. I will not go into detail of each of these processes, but I can show you with the help of photographs. Here you can see this is your activated sludge process. In this, you add the microorganism and you try to remove your sludge. Means there's a some liquid along with some hard particles. You activate this sludge. Then there are trickling filters. There are bed rocks in which you apply the microbes and pass water through this bed of rocks. Then there are oxidation ponds. As you can see that oxidation is carried out with the help of microbes under this type of ponds. You can see one small, one large oxidation ponds. So this all includes a secondary wastewater treatment, and this all utilize various type of microbes for the treatment of waste. While secondary treatment also includes anaerobic treatment, as you can see, these all were carried out under open conditions. This is a aerobic treatment, while there are certain biological anaerobic treatment. Through anaerobic treatment, there is a development of large amount of biogas and also methane and carbon dioxide, which we're seeing in the previous slides. Now we come to in situ. Another type of in situ. In situ means at the site. This is called a natural attenuations carried out with various microorganisms. So there are different type of processes under in situ. One is called as biostimulation. One is called as bioaugmentation. This, if you can see the figure, these are the pollutants which are marked with black color, and we add nutrient and water to activate the indigenous microflora which is already present in the soil. There is a soil which is rich in pollutants. There are also microbes, but these microbes are not able to degrade this type of pollutant. So what we try to stimulate. How we stimulate? We stimulate with the help of nutrient and water. We add such type of nutrient and water, and we try to increase the activity of these indigenous microbes through conversion of this pollutant into some less polluting stage. Similarly, by augmentation, in this we are not adding any nutrient and water. Here pollutant is already there, indigenous microflora is already also there. We are adding some other microorganisms. Here we are adding, in biostimulation, we are stimulating the indigenous microflora, while in bioaugmentation, we are adding other microbes that increase the chances of conversion of a pollutant into non-toxic form or a pollutant-free environment. You can see that remediation through both of these processes, there is a pollutant-free environment. A very important, whenever we say about a bioaugmentation, the term which came into our mind is genetically engineered microbes. A genetically engineered microbe is a microorganism whose genetic material has been altered through recombinant DNA technology. Genetic engineered microbes have shown high potential for bioremediation, exhibiting the enhanced degrading capabilities over a wide range of contaminants. The best example of genetically engineered microbes which we can see is by the discovery of Professor Ananda Mohan Chakrabarty. He has got a Nobel Prize. He has got a basically first patent, so not Nobel Prize. He got a first patent, for the Nobel recognition for the development of a genetically engineered Pseudomonas and oil-eating bacteria in 1971, which is also referred to as a superbug. He produced a new stable bacterial species which are commonly referred to as Pseudomonas pituita, which is capable of digesting 2/3 of hydrocarbons found in typical oil spill, and that too faster than the previous existing strains of oil-eating microbes. You can see on the photograph this Anand Mohan Chakrabarti and his first US patent, which he get for the oil spilling bacteria. So microbe basically they transform the substances through their various different metabolic and enzymatic processes. They grow and they co-metabolize it, they mineralize it, they act on the organic pollutant for their own growth and energy process and resulting in the complete degradation. The various examples which we can see are Bacillus, Corynebacterium, Staphylococcus, Streptococcus, Escherichia coli, Pseudomonas, etc. This is the study which we are carrying in our laboratory that we have done. You say there we have discovered some fungi which degrade the polymer or polythene. There are some fungal endophytes that attached on the polymer and they release various enzymes. These enzymes they convert complex polymer into oligomers like dimers, monomers, etc., and degrade through aerobic and anaerobic process. And through aerobic, they mineralize it for the further value-added products, and through anaerobic, they assimilate for their own energy. Now, last topic, we come to the phytoremediation. Phytoremediation is a cost-efficient, plant-based approach that takes the advantage of the ability of the plants to concentrate elements and compounds from the environment and metabolize various molecules in the tissue. It refers to the natural ability of certain plants to bioaccumulate, degrade, or render harmless contaminants. Contaminants such as metals, pesticides, they have been mitigated in the phytoremediation projects worldwide. There are different categories of plants. They are referred to as hyperaccumulators. Hyperaccumulators are the plants that sequester heavy metals in their vacuoles and are capable of tolerating high amount of such heavy metals. Many plants belonging to families like Brassicaceae, mustard plants, alpine, hemp, pigweed, sunflower, they have been proven to hyperaccumulate as a toxic waste site. Almost 400 plant species have been classified as hyperaccumulators of heavy metals, such as grasses, sunflowers, corns, hemp, flax, alfalfa, tobacco, Indian mustard, etc. Plants phytoremediate through various processes. Plants phytoremediate through phytostimulation. Through their roots, they stabilize the concentration of contaminant in the soil. They phytotransform, they convert into toxic into non-toxic form. They extract the contaminant into their leaf or into stems, or they convert into some volatile gas which is released into the atmosphere. So there are different processes through which plants carry out phytoremediation. Now we come to the circular economy. As we were discussing in the first slide, one of the major goals of sustainable development is the development of a circular economy. What is circular economy? The circular economy is a model of production, consumption, which involves sharing, leasing, reusing, repairing, refurbishing, recycling existing materials and products as long as possible. You reduce, you reuse, you remanufacture, recycle, and you try to reuse till it has not gone. So it is a circular economy benefits that raw materials are conservation. You need not know again new raw materials. You innovate in various processes. There are a large number of durable products can be found. There are a large number of startups, jobs have been created in this type of industries. High efficiency, carbon emissions are very reduced. This has high advantages over the linear economy in which we are just using natural resources. We take it, we make it, we consume it, and we make it a waste. And this waste is not used. While we should focus on our circular economy where raw materials from the waste are being used to design, to retail, to consume, then collect and recycle it again into design, retail. So this process goes on, and this is called a circular economy. Now we come to what are various initiatives related to waste management by the government. There are various rules which have been created by the government of India, like solid waste management rules in year 2016, plastic waste management rules. There are project replannings. There are plastic waste management which have been amended in 2022. Waste to energy is a very important initiative which is being carried out by the government of India. Then there are waste to wealth portals. There are Invest India portals which you can see and go online. And this is the year 2022. There are guidelines which anybody can start at your own You can start as startup industries in which you can convert waste into energy programs by following these guidelines, which you can implement this process, and you will also get large amount of funding from central financial assistance from the government of India. So in the last, I want to conclude that waste management is important for the environment and human health. Sustainable waste management practices are necessary to develop our circular economy. Educating people is most important. Waste disposal should be priority for governments and municipalities. Individual involvement is also important. Waste management is a global issue. Not only you say India, but all over the world, it has become a global issue. Waste management can be improved by separating waste as a source. Eco-friendly approaches are needed for the organic waste management. Then high amount of legislation is required so that waste is segregated, it is disposed accordingly. So thank you for the lecture. We can be in touch with this email ID and contact number. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Mathur, for such an enlightening lecture. And I am very sure that all of us have understood well how the journey starts from small to big things. So the awareness should start at the societal, at the individual level, at the household level. And really, it was an eye opener for all of us that we think it is a management, but that is actually segregation. That's all what we usually do. And we think that we have managed the West, but rather doing in a proper manner so that it doesn't accumulate or cause some deleterious effects is very important. So once again, thanks to Dr. Mathur for sharing such nice examples and implications of how we can manage waste of different types in the society. Okay, so now I invite Dr. Navonita Mukherjee, Assistant Professor from Department of Zoology, Jangipur College, to move forward with the interactive session. And I also request her to conduct the valedictory session of today's event. So over to you, Dr. Navonita.
Uh, Thank you, Shomo, for inviting me. I think I am visible and audible also here.
Yeah.
Uh, Good afternoon, everyone. I am Dr. Navonita Mukherjee, and it's my honor to be here today as we delve into the fascinating world of microbial plant alliances in environmental cleanup. I would like to extend a heartfelt thank you to our esteemed speaker, Dr. Piyush Mathur, for your informative presentation on solid waste management, your discussion on the classification of waste, including organic waste like municipal, constructional, hazardous wastes, household and agricultural wastes, and also the hazardous wastes, also medical plastic wastes, and also the biodegradable and non-biodegradable waste, as well as the strategies for managing and segregating them into types was particularly enlightening. I also want to appreciate your insights into the role of microbes in biological remediation and the use of plants for creating and cleaner, greener cities. So we are now opening the floor for our interactive session. I encourage all faculty members and students to participate actively. So if you have any question from the audience, please feel free to raise your hands and we will call on you to speak. And alternatively, you can type your questions into the chat box and we will address them accordingly. And your input is invaluable, and we look forward to stimulating discussion. So please, from the audience, do you have any questions here? Please raise your hands. Students, do you have any questions? You can write in the chat box also. Or among our faculty members, if you have any question, please feel free to raise your hand. Yes, Shuman Kormakar, Assistant Professor from Department of Botany. Please ask, sir.
I think he is not able to hear. Dr.
Yeah.
Karmakar, you can ask the question.
Okay, okay. Okay, thank you for giving me the opportunity. Uh, Dr. Piyush Mathur sir, it is a very nice lecture. I enjoyed the lecture all throughout the session. Now I have a general query. Actually, it is a phase that we are passing, Swachhata Pakhwada, a fortnight event. So my simple question: how an individual can contribute in waste management? What will be the role of an common individual, every householder, to play a role, contribute some in such a Pakhwada, in particularly in waste management?
A very simple role which we can play in our homes is that we can start reusing our own household waste. What we do with our household waste, we just keep it outside our home and we wait for the cleaner who will come and he will take it. That is a waste management. So what we can do, not I am saying on a large scale, but we can start it like many have started, like they're collecting our waste and they can put in a small, you say, tub and all, they are compositing their own. So first you start at your own, then you start teaching your nearby, then you start teaching within your apartments, within your small level. You can do that because once you are, and there are, we can change our thinking at a simple level that मैंने plastic फेंका तो क्या हुआ. मतलब simple word यही होता है, what if I am doing it, क्या फर्क पड़ रहा है, मेरे होने से क्या पड़ेगा. वो thinking जब तक change नहीं होगी, because we all want an area like we all want a foreign, हम सबको बोलते हैं बिल्कुल foreign जैसा feel हो रहा है. Whenever you gone to go to any good place, सबसे पहला वर्ड निकलता है किसी फॉरेन में आ गए क्या. तो वो फॉरेन बनाने के लिए तो हमें मेहनत करना पड़ेगा.
Yes. Okay. And another question: how much cost is required to set any waste management plant anywhere? Okay. How much does it cost?
Actually, depending on the type of waste management you are doing, there are
Yes.
like there can be crores and crores. Like if a bioreactor you are establishing, but if you are doing in a small area and a small farm, it can be done in like 1 lakh, 2 lakh, 3 lakhs, or minimum. Composting required doesn't funds, because you just require a flat bed. It can be on like some thousands of rupees. You can do that.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah.
So, if you one from the audience have any other question, students, you also can write any kinds of questions in the chat box. Sir, actually, I have a few questions. Can I
Sure.
ask? Okay. No.
Yeah, sure, ma'am.
Okay, sir. I am just want to ask a few questions. That is, we are actually our college is residing in the Jongipur area in the Murshidabad district, and we know that it's actually an arsenic-prone zone, and it's contaminated with heavy metal poisonings like arsenic. So we know that arsenic found in the groundwater substances. But now it's become a crucial problem in our zone, that it's become a myth that the arsenic is found in the groundwater. It's now came into the surface water. The probable cause may be due to the boring of household for drain out the underwater for household activities, and particularly they come into the river directly because no proper sewage plan is there. So even the present data also show that we know that the permissible range of arsenic in drinking water is 10 microgram per liter according to WHO. But in case of certain areas, even at Jongipur, at the pre-monsoon area, it just process 10 microgram. It become near about 12, or in particularly in Jiaganj, it become 18 also. The surface water arsenic poisoning, it's a huge problem for us also. So if you can say a few words on it, it will be very helpful for us because we are facing a very much dangerous problem in this area.
Yeah, I heard that arsenic is becoming a hazard because one of my student was working on wheat plant, so they were not allowed to grow in that area because this is very rich in, and there are many reports in Bengal also that due to this the wheat cultivation has been banned due to arsenic and all. So it's required basically a good studies by the researchers only that because many microbes we are trying to isolate from the arsenic contaminated sites. We can isolate these microbes and we can act up, see the mechanism how they act upon these sites. First, we basically have to do under lab conditions, then we can go under the field. And another important thing, we can use some hyper accumulator plants that have the ability to, we can grow not only like, we are now focusing on food crops. Everybody wants to go wheat, rice, maize, and other things to sustain because the population. But we try to grow some wheats and all, some plants, some hyper accumulator plants that have the ability to uptake these arsenic, not in a small scale, but in a large scale. So vegetation planting can play an important role and can play a faster role in remediation because there are many reports like in Bombay and all, there are very reclamation sites which have been created now become agriculture field. So because of only vegetation. So we have to develop certain vegetation, those plants that have the ability to uptake arsenic from the soil of that region. That can play a beneficial role.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. And I have another questions also that in the context of this microbe-based waste management, which type of microbes are considered both effective and safe for research purposes, particularly students who are fresher in this field, and are there any specific strain that are particularly suitable for educational research that actually we want to start some research work regarding this waste management?
Definitely, there are some strains of E. coli and all. You can get it directly from the market. Actually, there are now commercialized strains are available in lyophilized forms. You can take it like when you want to do composting because in colleges, various organizations they do composting in some practicals. So they brought some strains like from agencies or some like there are centers. They give various strains of E. coli and other various pseudomonas. Some bacillus strains are also there. Because they are known. Because if I try to do start your work with like very unknown strains which you have no idea, that will create the problem. So you can purchase those strains which are available in the market and which are like in any centers are there also. They are freely given by various agencies, NGOs for this biogas productions and biocomposting. So you can take those strains from the market from any agencies and you can use those strains for this process.
Okay, thank you, sir. Thank you again. So, any questions? Harmit Kaur, I can see that you raise your hands.
Yeah, hi. Good afternoon,
Yes,
sir,
madam, yours.
and good afternoon, everybody. I am Dr. Harmeet from University of Delhi. So, sir, you have mentioned that bioplastics they contribute to reducing the environmental impact of traditional plastic waste. Are there any drawbacks also of using these bioplastics in everyday life?
Yes, a very good question. Yeah, because bioplastics are, I have seen that bioplastics are all those plastics which are made from biological material. So there's a different categories. There are still further categorized into biodegradable bioplastics, non-biodegradable bioplastics. So those non-biodegradable bioplastics, they have uh, you say harmful effects on the environment because the various reports you have been able to see today they contain nanoparticles, they contain nano size plastics, they contain in their whenever they are not degraded into the environment completely and they release some nanoparticles or you say some nano sized plastics which are there in the environment and which are not able to degrade. So yes, bioplastics which are non-biodegradable, they create problem. That's why now these were called first generation plastics. For last many 10, 20 years, the concept of bioplastic was develop a plastic from any biological origin. But in the present scenario, they are called second generation bioplastics, which are being developed from a starch, cellulose, microbes, which can be degraded.
All right. Thank you so much, sir.
Yeah, okay, thank you.
Here, actually, sir, another question from the students, Priya Jannat. She write here that please repeat some genetic engineering, modified genetic engineering microbes, and if you give some examples of this kinds of microbes.
Genetically engineered microbes, these are very important because we know that microbes, they have some microbes, they have ability not only degrading oil spills. We are now creating, we are now genetically changing the makeup of an indigenous microbe. We are inserting some genes in their genetic system so that they can degrade various harmful contaminants. They may be harmful compounds, heavy metals, they may be oil, hydrocarbons, there may be some heavy metals. And these genetic engineered microbes are not, you say, a very simple process to create. They are being produced through a recombinant DNA technology. You take gene, you take it, multiply it in some plasmids, you make it many copies, and you develop some organism which have these regions, which have these genes. They express them in some organism, and then we create it. So there are large number of examples. There are Pseudomonas putida, as I have seen. Then there is Bacillus amyloleucophaciens. Then there are many nitrogen fixing that helps in degradation. So there are many examples.
Okay, sir. Thank you for again for your nice talk. And if there,
Although I want to tell one thing. There are many topics that I can cover, but due to it's a very difficult for a student to. If I am a student, I would also not love to listen so much. So there are many things which I want to tell you, like bio paper. Right now we are using microbes. We are converting waste into a paper industries. And paper also, they are second generation papers. They are being made from biological microaction of microorganisms. There are many things which we are converting. So basically I can say from this lecture, one of the important things which I can convey to the students which are listening, if they are listening, that they can join these industries, because this all is a startup industries, and this is one of the most, like if you say, after AI, the next industry which is going to flourish is semiconductors. Recently reports are coming that in the next, you do engineering in semiconductor and you will get a job, not in computers. So similarly in this field, in industrial microbiology, one of the most emerging field is you try to bioremediate, you develop a value added product, because circular economy may be new in India, but it is playing a major role in European countries. It has become a legislation. So in India, it is also going to come in a few years, not maybe next year, circular economy. So it will create large amount of job, as there are many sectors: collection, manufacturing, retailing, startup jobs. So you can go, and being a science student, many people think that there are no jobs, but if you can study hard, you work hard, you will get a very good place in this industry.
okay, I think if there are any questions from anybody, you can ask also. And if the interactive session is completed, then I can go to the valedictory session. So now in the mandatory valedictory session, thank you all for your active participation throughout today's webinar. As we conclude, I would like to extend our deepest gratitude to several individuals and groups who have made this event possible. First, a special thank you to our keynote speaker, Dr. Piyush Mathur, sir, for sharing invaluable insights on microbial plant alliances in environmental cleanup process. I had also like to acknowledge the unwavering support from our governing body members, Mr. Shivashish Chatterjee, President, Dr. Prathida Vishwas, our Principal Madam, Sri Rejaul Karim, Sir, and Sri Yusuf Hussain, both are State Government nominee, Dr. Shantinath Sarkar and Dr. Nafisa Banu, both are University nominee, and three of our teacher representative from our college, Sri Krishnendu Pal Chaudhuri, Sri Torun Mondol, and Dr. Ashish Mondol, and last Sri Jawaharlal Singh, our non-teaching representative. Again, A heartfelt thanks to our principal madam, Dr. Prathita Vishwash, for her continuous encouragement and technical support also. We also appreciate the efforts of our IQAC coordinator, Dr. Basudev Chakraborty sir, and the entire IQAC team, as well as the members of the research subcommittee. Special thanks to Dr. Koel Basu and her team from the seminar subcommittee, and to Dr. Shoma Mukherjee for his exceptional work as the organizing secretary and moderator. Lastly, we are grateful to Sri Torun Mondol again for his role as a convener of the documentation subcommittee. So, last not but the least, thank you again for audience, and both the external members and the internal members also. Your collective efforts have ensured the success of this webinar. Thank you once again for your dedications and contributions. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much. I would like to thank everybody, Dr. Principal ma'am, Dr. Shoma Mukherjee, and you, ma'am, for organizing this and giving me opportunity. Thank you. Shall I disconnect, ma'am?
Okay, sir. You can disconnect it. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, ma'am.
Once again.